available in the featured section in the Facebook group. I urge you to go back and watch those. You can also register to join us on Zoom. I rolled that out earlier this week. You can get a registration link from me. I'll send it to you. You'll get all the reminders. Anybody that attends our Money Mastery, you know that it works the same way. We'll continue to expand on that. Excited to talk about reviews today, but Phil, I'll go ahead and let you kick it off.
Yeah, thanks so much. So hello, everybody again. I'm Phil Spangola, one of the onboarding specialists. Today, as Chris was talking about, we are going to be revisiting reviews. Just kind of as in my seat, I've dealt with a lot of support calls lately that have come through with people wanting to see how the reviews work and get basically an understanding of how they work, where they go, when they trigger, things like that. So really excited to show you all today just exactly how this is going to look. So as usual, I'm going to start with a little slide deck, hit you all with a little bit of information, and then we'll take a look at some real life examples. So here we go, start out with as per usual. So again, welcome to the Power Hour. We're going to be covering reviews. So as we move forward, mentioned that we're kind of breaking it down into a couple of things. We're going to talk about the review dashboard, what's all available within that particular dashboard. We'll talk a little bit about exclusion tags. We have heard from many of you that want to limit how many of these review texts go out to your customers, specifically a lot of the cleaning companies, a lot of people that do reoccurring jobs for specific customers, so that way they're not constantly getting reviews, text messages, and being prompted to be leaving reviews every 2 weeks or every twice a week, things like that. We'll talk a little bit about connecting to Google. I know a lot of you probably have a Google business account, and so we always want to put those reviews into Google. There's also a place to put it into Facebook, which we will talk about as well. And we'll also talk about how we can add these reviews that you get from Housecall to your own website. That kind of goes into choosing where we send these reviews, as well as with those exclusion tags, that's talking about where we send it to our customers. And as I mentioned with Google, Facebook, we're going to talk about how those reviews get sent to those different marketing sites. Talk a little bit about the email and SMS automation that comes with the reviews. Every review goes out with an email and a text message. And we're going to talk about how you can reply to those, which is going to be in your reviews dash. So we're going to pretty much tackle that right away. And then sharing reviews on your website. As I mentioned, we're going to talk about connecting to Google, connecting to Facebook, and how you can show these reviews that you get in Housecall Pro onto your website. So the first thing is just reviewing the dashboard. So if you don't know where this is, it's up in your apps, the little square with like the 9 buttons in there. You click on that, and there's always going to be an option reviews, which will take you to the review dashboard. I know it looks a little small right here, but as I said, we will go over this when I pull up my account, so it'll be a little bit bigger and clearer to see. But a couple of things to point out is that within the dashboard, you have this quantity reviews over time. So with that, we can see the total number of reviews collected from the customers, look at it on a monthly basis, and over time. So it's always good to see kind of those trends when it comes to all of your reviews, as they go up, as they go down, hopefully not going down, more going up, but we'll be able to have a better, clearer picture of looking at it and understanding where we're sitting in terms of how our customers feel about us. Reviews by review site. As I've mentioned several times, we can set it up to link to your Google business account, your Facebook, as well as your website. So on there, we'll be able to see the ratings that we're getting from most of our reviews in Facebook, from most of our reviews in Google, and the average rating that we are getting when it hits our website. The other thing on here is below, you'll have your employees. So as the employees start getting reviews from the customers, we'll be able to see what their average review rating is. This is a great place to see it all in one spot. There is also a report for this. If you were to choose to go to the reporting side, there is something called the Tech Leaderboard, but this is a great place to view, again, all of your review information in one spot. And of course, underneath, we have the list of reviews from the customers. So we can see when that customer left the review, what that customer's name was, what the employee's name was that was working on it, what the rating was, and we can even see, if they left us a little bit of feedback. So talking about exclusion tags, as I said, a lot of companies that have reoccurring jobs, they go to the same site or work for the same customer twice a week, maybe once every, twice every 2 weeks, something like that. We don't want to constantly bombard these customers with these review messages. Once they give us one review, we really don't need to keep bothering them about reviews. So that is why we've gone ahead and created these exclusion tags for you. So when you're trying to find these, and again, we'll see it in real time, we'll go up from the review dashboard. In the upper right-hand corner, there is the little settings cog wheel over there. And when you click on it, that's going to open up this settings side. And in there, we are going to talk about these, but you do see you have the ability to connect to the Google and Facebook through those settings. But as of right now, we're just talking about the exclusion tags. So the way those tags work is any job or any customer that we give a tag to. In this example, we said no review. As long as we apply that tag, we can put that tag in our exclusions, and then that way that customer is not going to receive the text message or the email prompting them to leave a review. Same idea with the job tags. So if it's used for the job tags, you can choose the specific jobs to exclude from receiving a specific request. One thing to call out, though, is customer exclusion tags cannot be used on jobs, and same way the other way. So if your customer says no review and you put no review in job tags, that's not going to work unless you have a no review in your job tags as well. So that's why if you're going to kind of block it off, we kind of recommend a great way to do this is put the tag on your customer as well as the job, just to be safe. But obviously it's up to your discretion. You can always leave it off of the job if you just want to use the customer exclusion tag. The job tag can also be used for segmented jobs as well. So if you only want the review request sent on the last segment, you can use the exclusion on all the tags leading up to that one, so that way we can, if it was a specific, maybe even a special project, we don't have to send them out a review every single time, but we'll send them to our specific project that we want to get some kind of review on. So connecting to the Google My Business to the Reviews app, it's quite simple. I've walked through this with many pros and many different businesses. As I showed you on the previous screen, through the settings, you're able to link right there just by flipping the switch. If we want to go back to our original screen, you do have the ability to click on the Google G over here, and that will also prompt you to sign into your Google Business account, which will then link it so that we can send these reviews off to your Google Business page. With multiple locations, you want to choose the linked Google account and select the specific Google My Business location for those specific reviews. So that's really just kind of how we have to do it. If you have multiple locations, select which location that you want it to do. And then in terms of the settings, you can always turn Google on, you can turn it off. So if you're starting to get inundated with specific reviews from Google, maybe some that you might not be too proud of, we can always turn that off and always turn it back on at a later time. So the flexibility is there. We obviously just want to make this as easy as possible for you. And one other thing that I always tell my pros is that if the customer has a Gmail account attached to their profile, when they get that review and they fill it out, those are automatically going to go directly to Google just because it's Google verified. Now, choosing where to send the reviews, as I just talked about, we were just sending them over to Google, but as I said, we can do Facebook as well as your own website. And when you go ahead and set these up, we will again see this in real time after the slide deck. But I always tell my pros is that you can divvy this up as long as it equals 100%. So that way you can have your reviews going to more than one place. I've worked with a lot of people that generally like to have 100% go to Google. Google seems to be kind of the #1 spot for reviews that a lot of people want. But if you want to divvy it up so you kind of get more, you spread out your reviews a little bit more within the internet. That way you get more eyes on it in different sites. So in this example, we're saying that we want 40% of our reviews to go to Google, 30% to go to Facebook, and 30% to go to our own website. And so really what that means is, as I said, with Google, with Gmail addresses, those are automatically going to go to Google, but anybody without a Gmail address essentially goes round robin on the percentages that you put here. So if it's going to go, 30% of those non-Gmail reviews are going to go to your website, 30% of those non-Gmail reviews are going to go to Facebook. So kind of zooming in on the buttons that are on the dashboard, as I was talking about. So here we can go ahead and when you select the G, that's where you'll be able to log in. Same thing with Facebook. For your website, it's already set up for you. Clicking on the website button is really just going to open up the previous screen that we were looking at to divvy up how you want it to look. I'm going to show you in my demo how we can go ahead and add what goes on our website to your actual website. So for the review automation, I get this question all the time, is when do customers receive those reviews? It is when you go ahead and hit the job is finished button. I've done this several times with many pros that I've onboarded. People have said the time range differs a little bit. Personally, every time I've done it, it usually goes out within a matter of seconds. So how do we want to make sure that that review has been sent out? You can always go down to your activity feed on that particular job. So as we see in this example, the job was finished, and then it was followed up by the text message that went out, as well as followed up by the email that went out. Common question that we typically get is if there are more than one employees on the job, who gets the credit of that particular rating from the customer? And the answer is everybody that worked on the job. It goes to everybody and increases all of their average rating. So that's just simply how it works. At this current time, we don't have a way to really divvy it up for specific people. Now, how to reply to a review. It's quite simple, and I'll show you in real time again, but it's as I showed you on the first slide, is at the bottom, that's where all of our reviews live that come in from the link that was used on our previous screen here. So when customers click that link and they leave a review, it goes to the bottom of Housecall. And I've always told people to think of us more as the middleman for the review. The review comes to us, and then we go ahead and send it out. So when it comes to us, that's where we have the ability to either star it, make it, a featured review, which I'll show you, and can also reply to it. There's a little button right there that you click on, and you can simply reply to the review. If it is a review for a Google customer, it's going to automatically go straight to Google. They can read that reply right there in Google. If it's a Facebook review, it's going to go straight to Facebook. Customers will see that reply right there in Facebook. And if it's going to go to your website, customer is going to receive a email letting them know that you responded to their to the review. And we also give you an ability to go ahead and make changes to those replies. So if you filled it out and then realized maybe it doesn't sound the way you want it to, you can always make changes. On Facebook and Google, it's just simply going to update it right there. If it's a customer that received an email because it went to your website, they will receive a new email with the updated comment that you left behind. So sharing reviews with customers, again, I'm going to kind of show this in real time, is just how we're going to go ahead and be able to grab this link that we have within the review settings, and we can go ahead and I tell pros, stick it on your website, stick it in your emails, stick it if you want in your text messages. You can also, besides just using the link, as we've mentioned here, is you can grab a screenshot, pull up that particular page, grab a screenshot, and then stick that screenshot onto your website. Makes it look a little bit more professional. I've also encouraged people is take that screenshot, stick it on your website, and then include the link at the bottom. So that way customers can go ahead, read your top reviews. And if they want to know more, they can click on the link and see all the reviews that have been left behind. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right. So Here's the account, and just to kind of walk through all the steps together, we're going to go up here to the apps, and in the apps, we're going to have that option for reviews. Here's the review dashboard here. As we can see, I'm the only one here on my team that has gotten any feedback, and I've got a perfect rating of a 5.0. But as we can see, a lot of my other employees here maybe have some work to do and need to start talking to their customers about leaving reviews. And a quick side note on that, if reviews really matter to you, what I've always encouraged pros to do is to add something to their checklists that say, make sure to let the customer know that they'll be receiving a link to leave a review. That way, customer understands, they know what's happening, and then they can leave you that review, obviously, if they choose to. Here's where we can see that I have consistently stayed at about 5 stars. And over here, as I mentioned, this is where we can go ahead and link up to Google if we want to. So just to kind of show this, we'll click on it. It says connect to Google. I personally do not have a Google business account, but as I said, I've walked through this with so many people. You really just sign into your Google business account, hit OK, and it links. It's that easy. Same idea with Facebook. If we go ahead and click there, it's basically going to prompt you to go ahead and link to your Facebook. So you just log right in and boom, it's going to already connect it for you. Now for the website, as I said, it's a little bit different. So for the settings, if we go up to the settings, here's that link to my review site. And as I've mentioned, if you want more eyes on this, you can always grab the link from up here at the top, stick that into your emails, stick it into your text messages, stick that link directly on your website. But this is also a link in here that you can click on to see how this particularly looks for you. So also within the settings, as I mentioned, there's the switches to go ahead and link to Google or Facebook if you prefer to do it that way. Underneath here is where we can go ahead and set up our exclusions. So if we want to exclude, in my case, I have returning customer, no review. And I also have no review and inspections. Like, if I'm not charging for an inspection, I don't really want a review. That's just in my case. Some people may want that. So you go ahead and set up your job tags, set up your customer tags how you want in terms of how you're going to set up that these are going to be excluded customers or these particular jobs are not going to be getting reviews. Send to notifications turned off. So we gave you that so you can override it a little bit. Now we know anytime we add a customer, there is a little checkbox at the bottom of when we add a customer that says, do they want to receive notifications or not? Most of the time, if it's a customer that we've worked with in the past, we usually turn that off. But this is a switch here to simply override that if at any time you want to override the people that don't want those normal notifications. Underneath, add reviews to my website, this 4 stars and up. A lot of pros that I talk to absolutely love this because what it allows us to do is we can go ahead and say how perfect we are with our 5 stars only. And what that'll do is that when customers go to the review site, they're only going to see those 5-star ratings and nothing less. You do have the ability to switch that up. So if you want to include 4 stars and up, 3 stars and up, 2 stars and up, all reviews or no reviews, we give you that option. You decide how many reviews you want to be seen on your website. So then really just showing down here, kind of the last bit here is the reviews as they started coming in. As I mentioned, we'll see the customer that left it behind, the date that they left it behind, the customer that went out, the rating that that customer received, our lead source, and for comments, these are obviously fictional customers, so there were no comments left behind. But one thing I want to call out is that as you see, as we scroll over here, we're given a couple of different options. So we can go ahead and say, yeah, I want to star this review. It was a really good one. I want to make that kind of one of my front and centers. For replying to review, there's the arrow right there. So we can just simply go ahead and reply to the review. Now, I did that because I wanted to call out the little green button here. So now we see this green circle here. That's going to tell everybody in our office that we've already replied to that. So if you have like your office managers that answer these replies, or maybe you want to do them yourself, you can already look at this and understand which ones have been replied to. And as I mentioned, if we want to go ahead and make changes, you can always go back and change that review at any time. Now, the little gear here that allows us to go ahead and pull up the job that we did when we were working with that customer. So we can go ahead and take a look at the line items. We can read our private notes. We can look at the activity feed, basically anything we need to know about the job. Maybe we want to recreate that the next time we go out there or for our next customer. And then the last option is to expand. So if we have a customer that wants to leave us a novel about how great we are, it's gonna, not read the whole thing within this little section, but we can always expand it to go ahead and read everything that they wrote for us. So that's pretty much everything that really happens when it comes to reviews. So Chris, any questions come up?
Lauren and I were checking a couple of things in the comments. Quick call out, a couple quick call outs actually. One being the having a technician that review, having an employee attached to that review. That does, as far as we know and what we've tested on our side, Phil, it does not work with Google reviews. So only website reviews can get attributed to an employee.
Okay, gotcha.
So I just wanted to call that out. I also wanted to call out too about Facebook. We've had a lot of pros post about this over the last few months, probably almost a year ago. We've had a lot of pros post about their Facebook reviews getting disconnected. That is because Facebook did change their reviews slightly. It goes by recommendations now. It does not go by like 3-star anymore. It's just a recommendation. And actually actively speaking with one of our product managers working on reviews. She actually reached out to me yesterday. She's getting some feedback. We're working on potentially doing some kind of Facebook integration again, but for most pros, as far as I know, it's no longer working.
That's a good call out, Chris. For just in case some people didn't catch that, with Facebook, with Facebook, they currently made some update within their site that is not lining up with how we're able to actually connect to Facebook. I have worked with a lot of pros on this, and Chris said we are currently working with them to try and get that fixed, but that's just currently how it is. I do have a couple of questions that have come through as we were preparing for the meeting. So Caden was asking about where seeing that reviews are going to the website, but he doesn't know what website that we are referring to. And as I mentioned, it's really this page right here, your review site. So when you click on it, that's where you're going to find those reviews for the My Website section. Can you get them moved over to Google? If they're already there, they're not gonna move over to Google. If you want everything to go over to Google, what I typically advise everyone to do is that in here, as I showed you how we can split this up into different percentages, is to just go ahead and put 100% up at Google. If you don't want them going to your website, or you want to split them up, you can go 50-50. As we mentioned, Facebook's currently under construction with us right now. So really it's either 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, however you want to do that. Next question is from Britt. What's the best way you found to get your house call reviews on your Google page, website, or social? So kind of answering the same question is if you want it to go specifically to Google, I would just recommend putting 100% once you connect to Google. And if you want it to go to your website or social, again, you'll want to go to this review site link, copy and paste it into your socials or directly onto your website. All right, next question is from Alfredo. When you complete a job and have your account linked to Google for a review, will it send a review link indefinitely to a reoccurring customer? Do I have to manually toggle the setting off? So really, this is why we built the exclusions for you. So if you, again, if you want, Alfredo, if you want your reviews to strictly go to Google, make sure that it's set to 100%. And if it is a reoccurring customer, yes, it will go indefinitely unless you go ahead and set up those exclusion tags. So again, if it's a customer you work with a lot, they've already given you a review or two, maybe let's throw an exclusion tag onto them. Next one's from James. Can we make it possible to add tenant info as well? Ability to ask for reviews from them and send communications also. Okay. So what I typically advise in these particular instances is that it really kind of depends on how you've set this up. If you've set up your text, if you're in the parent-child relationship, the tenant is the child, property owner is the parent. If you set up that parent-child relationship, that means your tenant is going to be the service address. So they're the ones that are going to get those notifications that the job is scheduled, technicians on their way, job is finished, and they're going to get that reviewed text message. If you've set it up so that the tenant's address is under the property manager's list of addresses, and you don't have that tenant information in the system, what you can do is that you can go to your inbox and you can send them a review through there. What I typically have people do is that once they test reviews and have one sent to them, they go ahead and copy that link, and then they can go ahead and send that out through their inbox. Here's one from Chicks HVAC. Is there any way to update the Google review hyperlink? It currently shows the full web top link address instead of the shorter link. When added, no to change this or add the Google logo with link. For this, I would say you all might want to set up a coaching or a support call so that we can take a deeper look into what it is exactly you're trying to do. Because just to update the review hyperlink, those just go out automatically. So if you have it set for 100% within Housecall, that's the link that gets sent out. Now, if you do have your own Google business page and you want to give them the direct link for that, I've coached people to go ahead and add that to their text message when they say that the job is finished, because that's automatically going to be triggered and the customer will see the link right there. That way it can just go straight to Google if that's how you want to do it. My customers don't have a Google account. Send us a Google review. Push Okay, this next one from Proficient Plumbing. This was more considering Facebook, and as we mentioned, that's a little bit under constructions. Are customers able to leave reviews before paying their invoice? Current answer is no. The way that the system is designed is that once well, actually that is true. I'm sorry, I take that back. The review goes out when they hit the job is finished. So if you want to go ahead and say that the job is finished, the review text message will go out. And honestly, you could just sit there and wait until they leave a review to send out the invoice. So the answer is yes, you can. Next one from Nadine. Google review text, is there a way to send the email for Google review, but not the text? From my understanding and what I've seen in the past is it's all in one. It's all or nothing. So if you want that text message to not go out, it's really just kind of, they both go out together. As I showed when we were looking at the activity feed, the text message and the email go out together. Here's another one from Nadine. When setting bulk review requests from the reviews tabs in the app section, is there any way to customize the language or is it default? So with the review text message, unfortunately, I believe it's only in English. And so what I have told a lot of my Spanish speaking pros is that you can either follow up directly going into your inbox if you want to send, just kind of a one-time text message to that customer. getting them the link. Again, I always tell everybody is make sure you send that link to yourself first and save it somewhere so that way you can send it out yourself. The other option I've always told everybody is that, as I mentioned earlier, add it to your job finished text message because that gets triggered automatically. Jason is having trouble setting it up with Facebook. We already addressed that. Is there any way to disable the reviews when customers are invoiced? As I mentioned, and as we kind of demoed over here, it's within those exclusions. So if you don't want a review going to a customer, make sure you set up those tags and then set up your exclusion tags. If a customer doesn't submit a review, is there a way to resend it through the HCP platform? What I've typically heard that has worked, what some of my pros will do is that when they are on a job, they can go back into their the job on their on the web portal over here. And let's just pull up a job here. So if I go ahead and say that it's finished, that's going to prompt that text message to be sent. I have heard that some pros have been able to go ahead here, hit undo, and then go ahead and hit finish, and essentially we make it trigger again. And so that's how I've seen pros do this. Is there a way to redirect reviews to another location? Google, website, Facebook. Somebody was asking, I think the point of this question, which I get a lot, is a lot of times people come in and say, hey, can I send my reviews to Yelp? Can I send my reviews to another third-party review site? The answer is currently no. We only work with Facebook, Google, and we created that little website for you. These are the 3 places. Now, again, if you want to view and look into some other ways of maybe like screenshotting that page that shows all your reviews and passing that over to another page that you have access to, that is a possibility for you. And then any ways to remove reviews to the website option? Really, yes. The way you would want to do that is that if you have it set up, again, if you have Google, or when Facebook is back up and running with us, you want to just send them to those. You can always set 0% at your reviews to go to your website, and that's how you will keep them from going there. So yeah, just kind of showing again, we would just want to make this 0, but we do need to have 100% quantity. So we would need to add that to either Facebook or Google. But yeah, those are a lot of the questions that were given to us beforehand. Chris, any new ones pop up as we're moving along here?
I haven't had any new questions pop up, but I did want to call out our SMS has changed. So customers opt in and opt out. Franklin commented about this. Thanks for calling that out, Franklin. It's a good call out note here that if your customer does opt out, that would include the review SMS. They wouldn't get the text message, but correct me if I'm wrong, so I think they would still be getting the email.
That is correct, and that is a good call out. Yes, because of the new SMS with the new consenting checkbox, yes, if they have not consented, they will not receive the text message. Good call out, but they will still receive the email.
Otherwise, I don't see any more questions. Lauren, thank you for dropping the help article, our whole collection on reviews. Pretty much everything you saw on the slide deck. You can get a full walkthrough on how to do that and get that again. If you're catching this later as well, feel free. Still drop your questions. We'll try and get back to you as quickly as we can. Phil, thank you. Pros, thank you for, hopefully I sound okay. I scrambled here in quite a hurry and a little technical problem, but we still made it happen. So if anybody has any suggestions, questions, let me know, and we'll see you all again next week.
Sounds good. Take care, everybody.
Cool. Thanks, Phil. Bye, guys.
Bye.